One of the indelible images we have of Melania Trump's time as First Lady was the day when she boarded a plane to go visit immigrant kids who'd been separated from their parents at the Texas border, and she wore this green jacket that said on the back, "I really don't care, do you?" After that visit, Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, in her new book, recalls what she says was a 70-minute phone call she says she had with the First Lady about that trip to the border. And I just want to read you from that part of the book. Ms. Winston Wolkoff says, quoting the First Lady here, "They all went crazy about the zero-tolerance policy at the border, but they don't know what's going on. The kids I met were brought in by coyotes, the bad people who are trafficking, and that's why the kids were put in shelters. They're not with their parents, and it's sad. But the patrols told me the kids say, 'Wow, I get a bed. I will have a cabinet for my clothes.' It's more than they have in their own country where they sleep on the floor. They are taking care nicely there." And the mothers, they teach their kids to say, "I'm going to be killed by gangs," so they are allowed to stay. They're using that line, and it's not true. Reading that quote from the First Lady aloud, it's a gut punch all of its own. But Stephanie Winston Wolkoff quotes this directly and says these are the words of the First Lady. Back with us once more for the interview is Stephanie Wolkoff. She's a former senior advisor to First Lady Melania Trump. Her new book's called Melania and Me. It's about her friendship with the First Lady and her involvement in the Trump inauguration. Ms. Winston Wolkoff, thanks again for being here. I just have to ask you if should we understand this to be a verbatim quote from the First Ladies? These are seemingly pretty insensitive comments she made about the kids she met at the border.
Rachel, there's no way to fabricate any of my story. And the only way to tell the story is to say it exactly as it was. The fact that the White House is trying to disparage me and claim my character is anything but what I know, again, if it's a respectful person, it's only going to have me discuss more and more the truth, the facts, and they're all either in some type of, a semblance that has 100% backing. I would never do that otherwise.
There's been some reporting, public source reporting around your book that says that part of the way that you can back up some of these verbatim quotes and some of these extensive, detailed anecdotes is that you do have some recordings of some of these conversations. Can you comment on that at all?
So, Rachel, I haven't commented on the past. And one of the reasons why I'm going to share this with you this evening is because I've been accused of taping my friend, as the White House said, and how horrible of a human being I am for doing that. And they're right. If she was my friend, it would be horrible. But Melania and the White House had accused me of criminal activity, had publicly shamed and fired me, and made me their scapegoat. At that moment in time, that's when I pressed record. She was no longer my friend, and she was willing to let them take me down. And she told me herself, this is the way it has to be. She was advised by the attorneys at the White House that there was no other choice because there was a possible investigation into the Presidential Inauguration Committee. And that's not how you treat a friend. So I was going to do anything in my power to make sure that I was protected. And at first, I really did think maybe she would come to my aid. Maybe she would tell the truth. She turned her back. She did. She folded like a deck of cards, and I was shocked when she did it.
Are you saying, Ms. Wolkoff, that at that point you decided, in order to protect yourself, that you would make recordings of some of your conversations with the First Lady, or that you did?
I did, Rachel. I did. And again, to have to admit that it is disgraceful in any other context. But who would believe any of this otherwise? You can't make this up. But again, I need the evidence. I needed the evidence to.
If the White House continues to call you a liar and say that you've made up these conversations and that these things that you're attributing to the First Lady or the President are things that didn't happen, do you have plans to release those tapes to the public or to show them, to play them for reporters so that other people can validate what you're saying?
there is a report coming out, and again, full disclosure, I'm not going to lie about it. I just can't, Rachel. So I'm going to tell you, I have admitted there is a report coming out that I did play it privately because to justify that I actually did have it and what it did say in her own voice. Again, the more they continue to come after me, and again, the more they continue to lie about what they've said, done, and do, the more I will continue to, prove their claims false. The last thing they should be doing is coming after me. I wanted to just write this book and move on. I didn't actually even expect them to say, I mean, of course I expected them to just say, oh, she's this and she's that, but they've gone on way too long, and I'm not going to let them take my integrity away anymore.
Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, former senior advisor to First Lady Melania Trump, key figure in the Trump inaugural. The new book is called Melania and Me, The Rise and Fall of My Friendship with the First Lady. Ms. Wolkoff, I know this is hard stuff to talk about, and I know this book was hard to write. I know because I read every word of it. I was very moved by your take on it. Thanks for the trust, for being here tonight, and good luck to you. Come back anytime. We'd be happy to have you here anytime you want to talk.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you, Rachel.